Warren Thompson, the Cosmic Wonder, is perhaps my very least favorite person on YouTube. If you have seen any of my other videos, you know that I have very strong opinions for or against many people for various reasons, but the reasons why are not frivolous. I speak ill only of people who are liars and snobs that don't know what they're talking about and speak nonsense about characters that I like. I have commented on a few of the Cosmic Wonder's videos, comments he has removed every time, in which I correct him and call him out for being the plankton chip that he is. But my irritation with him has grown a lot recently, and the time has now come for me to dedicate a full video to this terrible person. I have bitten my tongue long enough. Warren Thompson is the definition of a know-nothing know-it-all. He is the worst of all the terrible comic book YouTubers that pollute the minds of the undeserving populace. He perpetuates the fallacies and lies of the comic book hive mind, and does it with such a smugness that it makes me want to retch. Let me make this very clear so you, dear listener, don't think that I'm just attacking the guy because I don't like him. The reasons I dislike Warren Thompson are as follows. 1. He is a shill that will say anything for views and preferential treatment. 2. He does not read the comics. And 3. He doesn't speak well. Let me also be clear. I have never met him, don't know his political views, religious views, ethnic background, or anything else. I don't dislike him for any other reason than the fact that he acts like he knows things that he clearly doesn't and profits by spreading incorrect information. Now let's begin taking this point by point. My first point is that he's a shill, a very provable statement. Like a jellyfish or a worm, Warren Thompson has no backbone. Warren Thompson never says anything negative about Marvel or Disney until it has become an accepted norm, and he knows he will no longer be penalized for it. He said nothing but glowing things about Loki, Moon Knight, Black Widow, Eternals, Wakanda Forever, and many other now reviled Marvel properties when they came out, never saying anything slightly critical about them. This, in and of itself, is not a problem. If he genuinely liked them and saw nothing wrong, more power to him. There were one or two I myself enjoyed. I am all for someone expressing their true thoughts, especially if they're unpopular. In fact, I did a whole video on the topic of unpopular comic book opinions of my own. But Warren Thompson is not genuine. He has no true feelings on anything. Now that Marvel's Phase 4 has been universally panned, and Disney has even acknowledged their shortcomings, Warren Thompson speaks as if he had been critical of them the whole time, saying that there were flaws in the movies, and that the quality of the films have gone down. But where were these feelings over the past few years? They were nowhere to be found. He said nothing critical in real time. Why? And why is he now saying these things? Why didn't he say them before? The answer is simple. He has found himself a very cush job as an unofficial employee of Disney Marvel. Marvel puts something out, Warren Thompson gushes over it, regardless of the quality, and racks up thousands upon thousands of views on a video speaking positively for Marvel, making money off all the clicks, and then he gets invited to movie premieres where he can hobnob with the uppity-ups of Movieland. If he said anything critical, like for example the Critical Drinker does, there is no way Marvel would invite him anywhere. And I don't blame Marvel for this business practice. Why invite the skunk to the garden party? It doesn't make sense. But Warren Thompson knows this, and plays the game so he gets to enjoy the perks shillhood affords. I have no respect for that. Secondly, Warren Thompson doesn't actually read the comics he says he does. For proof, I will offer this. His insistence on calling the Skrulls, plural, the Skrull. Why does he do this? Because he doesn't know that they're called the Skrulls, because he doesn't read. Since Fantastic Four issue number 2, their introduction, the Skrulls have been just that. The Skrulls, with an S at the end. All Marvel readers know this, but not the Cosmic Wonder. And then there are the things that anyone who actually cracked open a comic would know is patently false. Susan grounds Reed. Wrong. Reed is on the spectrum. Wrong. Ben is Jewish. Wrong. Adam Driver, Mila Kunis, Seth Rogen, Zac Efron, John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, Vanessa Kirby, and all the other reported actors are perfect for the roles of the Fantastic Four. Wrong. These are not opinions. These are facts. The evidence to my claims here are laid out in my channel's many other videos, which I implore you to watch. I do not claim to know everything about every comic book series. I know my limitations. I'm not a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the X-Men, unless we're talking about John Byrne's view on the X-Men, nor am I a leading authority on Spider-Man or Wonder Woman. But I know Superman, and I know Fantastic Four, along with a few others. And I don't speak on anything I don't know. But that's all Warren Thompson does. Speak without knowing what he's talking about, just spewing sixth-hand information as if he came up with it himself, proving at the same time that he has no honesty and no intellect. It's like what Gene Kelly says in the movie An American in Paris. He's always making profound observations he's overheard. Finally, Warren Thompson just can't speak. He's the only real-life person I know of who speaks with capital T's. He says content, important, mutant, etc. I could get past this if he spoke everything clearly, but he doesn't. He's constantly mispronouncing the simplest words. Instead of sense, he says since. Instead of Avengers, he says Avengers. Instead of them, he says them. Instead of women, he says woman. Instead of Andromeda, he says Andromeda. Instead of supposedly, he says supposably. And funniest of all, he calls Valeria Valeria, rhyming the character's name with that most unfortunate of vowel movements. You can't make this stuff up. I wouldn't make fun of his manner of speech if it was something he couldn't control, like a lisp or eroticism. Those are speech impediments that are very difficult to overcome, impossible in some cases. Warren Thompson speaks this way out of laziness. He does not take time to correct his oratory mistakes, which I have no respect for in a man who makes his money speaking. Show your audience you respect them enough to say things properly. Nor do I wrong him for words that he mispronounces that he may not have heard before. I call this the Harry Truman effect. Mr. Truman read all the books in his local library and learned many words that he had never heard said out loud. As such, he would, on occasion, mispronounce words. But that wasn't his fault. His brain was just smarter than his mouth. I have the same problem at times. But this is not Mr. Thompson's problem. It is evident by the words that he mispronounces and the fact that he doesn't pronounce them phonetically, but however he chooses, that he's just lazy and intentionally ignorant. To say I hate listening to Warren Thompson in his pompous voice is an understatement. He is a despicable, two-faced man who exploits people's love of Marvel movies and comics with clickbait titles and Disney talking points for a quick cash grab. I cannot wait for his channel's inevitable demise. And it will fall, because all insincere fad chasers do. I thank you very much for listening. Until the next video.